If someone you love is addicted to heroin or crack or any highly addictive drug, you may have heard something that unsettles you. You may have heard them say, it's the best feeling in the world. And that one sentence can feel like a betrayal in itself. Because how can something that's destroying their life feel better than their children or better than their partner or better than safety and love? So let's talk honestly about what that means without romanticizing it and without shaming it. For many people, addiction doesn't begin as chaos, it begins as relief. Imagine someone who hasn't slept properly in years because their nervous system is always on edge, or someone carrying trauma they've never spoken about, or someone who feels constant low-level shame, anxiety, or not enoughness. Being from a loving family or having access to a good education, whilst it certainly helps, doesn't prevent someone from feeling these things. Then suddenly there's quiet. The noise in the head softens and drifts away. The tightness in the chest eases and relaxes. The constant sense of urgency disappears and the daily worries and stresses disperse. It's not about pleasure. It's about the absence of pain. For someone who's been living in survival mode, that absence can feel extraordinary. That's the hook, the pull, the draw. But here's the really cruel paradox. Heroin is short-acting. The warmth fades, and when it fades, the contrast is brutal. Heroin can make someone feel better than they've ever felt, briefly, but it can also make someone feel worse than they believed was humanly possible. The same life they tolerated yesterday now feels sharper and harder and more irritating. The problem at work feels heavier. The argument with their partner feels bigger. The baseline has shifted, and then the body starts to respond. So what looks from the outside like selfishness and recklessness can internally feel like escaping torture. For the people that love someone with a heroin addiction, this is absolutely devastating. You may feel replaced, you may feel lied to, you may feel like the drug matters more than you do. From the outside, you might be thinking, just stop, you're ruining everything. But from the inside, their system is saying, this is survival. So technically, there is still a choice. But the addicted brain making that choice is not calm and rational. It's chemically hijacked, depleted, and in distress. It's moved itself to the top of the priority list, above logic, above consequences, sometimes even above family. Not because you don't matter or because your loved one doesn't care, but because the brain has coded it as urgent. Addiction thrives in shame and isolation. And that's exactly why addiction isn't just about willpower. It's relief turning into dependence. It's brain chemistry colliding with pain. It's a survival system that's been completely rewired. So here's what's happening underneath all of that. On the inside, opioids flood the brain's reward system with dopamine, and they attach to opioid receptors that regulate pain and emotion. The brain quickly learns that this equals relief and to repeat it. Over time, the brain adapts and it produces less of its own feel-good chemicals. It becomes less responsive to normal rewards such as food, laughter, intimacy, achievement. So everyday life starts to feel flat. And when the drug leaves the system, dopamine drops sharply. The nervous system becomes dysregulated. If someone is physically dependent, now is when withdrawal can begin. This can look like sweating, chills, insomnia, muscle aches, nausea, diarrhea, anxiety, agitation. It can feel like the worst flu you've ever had combined with panic and despair. It's not about being dramatic, it's physical. Your body is screaming that something is wrong. Recovery usually requires medical support, psychological support, and structure and connection because the body and the brain need time and help to recalibrate. This is not a simple try harder situation. It's a biological storm layered on top of whatever pain existed long before the drug entered the picture. But understanding addiction is not the same as accepting harm. It does not make betrayal or neglect okay. It does not remove responsibility or excuse stealing. But it does explain the intensity of the grip. You are allowed to set boundaries. You are allowed to protect yourself, and you are allowed to feel angry and hurt. But separating the person from the hijacked system can help you respond with clarity instead of only rage. And if you're the one struggling, listening quietly, the fact that heroin once felt like the only relief doesn't mean that you're beyond repair. Brains can recalibrate. Dopamine systems can recover. Nervous systems can stabilize again, but it rarely happens alone. Addiction is not glamorous, it's not simple, and it's not just about bad choice repeated over and over. It's relief that became a trap. It's survival wiring that's gone off kilter. And the more we understand that, the better chance we have of approaching it with the balance it requires. Compassion, boundaries, and real ongoing support. If you're the one loving someone through this, the most helpful thing you can do is not to shout louder or to carry it all for them. It's to learn about what you're dealing with and to look after your own well-being, to set steady boundaries and gently keep the door open to real prolonged support. Addiction rarely shifts because someone is ashamed enough. It starts to loosen when there's clarity and consistency and help that doesn't disappear at the sign of the first setback.